when I was there, they never said anything, When I leave the Vegas and when they stopped my visa, he started to talk. When I come back, I'm in LA, bro. Come on. If it's something personal for you, just come. I'm here whenever you want. No, just making money, have fun. If you want to take it personally, it's up to him. But for me, it's just work. It makes people happy, makes me happy. And like I said before, beat somebody makes me happy.
I mean, I was here when he retired from COVID. I was training with him. Like, he's just it's like, if you knew, I always say there's guys, if you knew on a personal level you wouldn't like. Chimaev is one of those people, if you knew you wouldn't like. He'll come in here. There's a video of me.
That's a pretty long time, but still, I believe in God, so he has his plans, but I had my plans, in my mind, and my man, just was supposed to fight 2 years ago for the belt, but...
Sean Strickland called out Khamzat Chimaev in a bold rant. Hours later, Chimaev replied with strong words during a live stream. Both fighters are now locked in a heated exchange, and the UFC community is closely watching every move. After weeks of back and forth online, Khamzat Chimaev has returned to the United States. His latest message was clear and aimed directly at Sean Strickland. Chimaev claimed Strickland only started talking once he left the country, and now that he's back, he wants to settle everything in person. He addressed the issue openly during a recent stream.
I don't know, when I was there, they never said anything, When I leave the Vegas and when they stopped my visa, he started to talk. When I come back, I'm in LA, bro. Come on. If it's something personal for you, just come. I'm here whenever you want.
Additionally, Sean Strickland spoke about Khamzat Chimaev during a recent appearance, directly calling him out. He said Chimaev acts differently in private than he does in public. Strickland also mentioned that he had trained with him before and claimed to have seen behavior that didn't sit right. His words weren't about fight hype, instead they focused on how he views Chimaev outside the cage.
I mean, I was here when he retired from COVID. I was training with him. Like, he's just it's like, if you knew, I always say there's guys, if you knew on a personal level you wouldn't like. Chimaev is one of those people, if you knew you wouldn't like. He'll come in here. There's a video of me, I always like, oh, you're so good. Thumbs up. Understand, you're better than everybody. So just don't hurt people.
Strickland added more details from his time training around Chimaev. He said Khamzat would opt for easier sparring options instead of harder ones. According to him, it showed a side of Chimaev that isn't often seen. Fans quickly picked up on this clip and shared it across social media. Strickland's tone stayed aggressive as he finished his thoughts during the same segment.
I'm being sarcastic, bro, you go and this one-on-one guy when there's Edmund, there's high-level UFC fighters, and you're picking the one-on-one fighter because you think he's the same height as your opponent. No, you're picking him because you're a bitch, dude. It's just, he's just no, he could fight, but mentally he's just a weak man. He's just a weak man.
Furthermore, Sean shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis. He said, DDP is better striking, but Khamzat's grappling is very strong. Sean also talked about his experience training with tough wrestlers who use heavy pressure, and this gives him an idea of how hard it is to deal with fighters like Khamzat on the ground.
Weak man.
Well, go on then, you got to give me your thoughts on Dricus Khamzat, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind. So I sparred. I fought Dricus. I fought Dricus. Dricus has better stand-up than Chimaev, but Chimaev has a pretty crazy grappling. Now, I've been training with these daggy terrorists my entire life, so it's I train with these. I know how to get up from these guys. I can withstand the storm.
Strickland explained how difficult it is to handle intense wrestling pressure in a fight. Sean isn't sure if Dricus has faced that level of pressure before. He also mentioned a past fight where another wrestler named Brad took down Khamzat and controlled him, showing how important it is for Khamzat to be ready for this challenge.
I don't know if he's encountered that level of wrestling to where it might get him a little off guard, but if he could handle it, get up and work his way up. It's kind of hard because I mean, it was a long time ago, but Brad took him down and held him down. Took him down. But Brad took him down and held him down, so it's like he just really has to be ready for an extreme amount of pressure on the ground. And if he can withstand that, he's undefeated.
On the other side, Khamzat Chimaev recently spoke about critics who called Dricus du Plessis' style. He said that style is just part of MMA and not unusual. Khamzat admitted that DDP is a good fighter, but said he believes he is better.
Oh, everyone says it's weird style, weird. That's MMA style, you know. So I don't think it's some crazy weird, but he does his job. He does good, and he's a good fighter. But I'm better.
In a way, does it really matter how he fights? Because if you come out there so far...
Bro, when somebody laying down on the match, it's how weird you are. You're on the ground, bro. And ground and pound, submissions, bro, they don't care about your style. So we'll see. We'll be happy to see him in the cage, middle, or fight him, striking, wrestling, grappling. And I want to know how he can handle it.
Meanwhile, Dricus du Plessis talked about how people's opinions about fighters can change quickly. He explained that he has improved a lot over time by fixing past problems. What was once a weakness after early rounds has now become a strength. And this shows how much he has grown as a fighter and how he is ready to face tough opponents.
Two things you can take away from that people just change their opinions the whole time. And then of course, it shows that I'm ever evolving because there was a problem, we fixed that problem, and now that problem has become my strength. The weakness of after round one became my strength. And a fight like this I've been getting so much respect. I don't care what people say in terms of Dricus is not a good champion. At the end of the day, I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
I've defended the belt twice. I'm gonna do it.
Adding on, DDP shared that he has earned respect by defending his title twice and plans to do it a third time. He emphasized that every fight he has had is exciting with no dull moments. He also talked about his strong fight record and the quality of opponents he has faced. This shows his focus on fighting the best and keeping fans entertained.
But now for a third time. Every fight I have is exciting. That is a fact. There is no boring fights. I've never had one, never gonna have one. And then, of course, the resume, the people I have fought. I have fought, before about a month ago, I fought everybody in the top 5. At that stage, everybody except for Imamov. And, that's the resume. I mean, that's what I want. I want to fight the best guys. That's why I wanted this Khamzat fight so badly. So, yes, absolutely, I've been getting a lot more respect from more people. Because I've proven that,
Moving on, DDP reflected on his career, mentioning that he has fought almost everyone in the top 5. He said he wants to face the best fighters, which is why he's eager to fight Khamzat Chimaev. He also noted that he's getting more respect now because of his consistent wins. DDP remains confident in his own unique style, which has helped him become a champion.
That's what I want. I want to fight the best guys. That's why I wanted this Khamzat fight so badly. So, yes, absolutely, I've been getting a lot more respect from more people because I've proven that, say what you will, I'm winning. And my style has proven to be effective. Not for everyone. Yes, controversial. Yes, it is awkward, but that's on purpose, and that's why I am the champion of the world. So, yeah, I am the underdog, but when it comes to respect, I only care about the respect of a very small group of people. That's my country, my family, my team, and the people that believe in me. Those who don't believe in me, do it at your own peril. I don't really care. It's I've walked into many stadiums with boos and I've walked out with cheers, so that will happen once again.
You mentioned...
Furthermore, Khamzat Chimaev reflected on the long wait and challenges he faced before finally getting his chance at a title fight. He acknowledged that his path didn't go as planned, but he trusts that everything happens for a reason. Despite the setbacks, he said the difficult times made him stronger and that he's now happy to be fighting again.
That's a pretty long time, but still, I believe in God, so he has his plans, but I had my plans, in my man, and my man just was supposed to fight 2 years ago for the belt, but yeah, but I'm happy. I'm happy to fighting right now. So God wills.
Have you been pretty happy throughout this process, or were there times where it's good that you're happy now and we're going into a title fight, but there've been some dark times leading up to this?
It's been. All the dark times makes you a stronger man. So I like to be and going through a lot of tough things.
You got this dream.
Building on that, Khamzat opened up about what truly drives him beyond winning fights. For him, making money and providing a good life for his family is the most important goal. He focuses first on beating his opponent rather than just winning belts. The championship belt is a reward that comes after, but his priority remains supporting those closest to him.
If I say like it will like big thing for me, it will be like, for me most important to have money, make money and make my family and good life, you know. So I think about my opponent to win a go against him, and the most important to beat that guy. It's not important to have a belt. So if I beat him, of course we're gonna have a belt as well. So first thing I think about the guy, then comes belt as well.
The belts used to mean something though to you, didn't they? I feel like they did, unless I just interpreted that.
Chimaev went on to explain that belts don't always mean everything to fighters. He mentioned champions like John Jones and Demetrius Johnson, who have many titles but value family life more. For Khamzat, true success is about giving back to family and living comfortably. The belt represents achievement, but taking care of loved ones is what matters most to him.
Unless I just interpreted that wrong from you.
I don't know. Maybe gives better life for you.
Yeah, that's what it symbolizes.
If we say like, the guys had, John Jones has so many belts. He's finished career, he's gonna stay with his family. That's the important, you know. So the other guys, Demetrius Jones, how many belts he had. So, but if you ask him, I don't think so. And belts is important than his family. So it's most important, give the food, have a good life for your family. That's the important thing for me.
Adding on, Khamzat Chimaev has faced criticism for pulling out of multiple fights in a short period. This has caused frustration among fans and the UFC community. Kyle Sonnen weighed in on the situation, highlighting the challenges the UFC faces when a champion can't be relied on for fights. He expressed concerns over the impact on promotion, fans, and the organization's plans.
It's very hard to get Chimaev to the ring. Chimaev has pulled out of more fights than anybody in his short tenure here in the UFC. To have a champion who you can't count on, let alone that you are depending on, and on a short notice notification pulls out of a fight, said this would be a disaster. So, which I certainly couldn't disagree that scenario is not wonderful, would be a lot to deal with. The promotion, the fans, the boys in the back are going to be upset by that. I'm just wondering if that, in fact, is what is happening here. Chimaev.
Sonnen explained that many people forget the serious health challenges Khamzat Chimaev faced, and after nearly losing his life, Khamzat spent a month under hospital care. Sonnen highlighted that Chimaev's path wasn't easy, and this context is important when discussing his recent fight cancellations. Despite this, Khamzat bounced back and earned the top contender spot after beating Kamaru Usman.
Stuff where I hear he doesn't show up to fights. Well, that was the first one that he missed, but I don't ever hear anybody telling the timeline and that he thought he was going to lose his life, and after only 1 month on supervised hospital attention, was he able to recover from that? We get to another spot. Chimaev beats Kamaru Usman. Chimaev becomes the #1 contender. The match for the world title at 185 pounds, champion Sean Strickland, gets announced, which means that #1 contender we discussed gets an opportunity, but it turned out in the fight.
Sonnen continued by discussing the fight Khamzat was targeting next, the title match against Sean Strickland. He explained Khamzat's broken hand forced a delay, which wasn't an excuse but a necessary reason. Sonnen emphasized that these setbacks were real challenges, not just fight cancellations.
Opportunity, but it turned out in the fight with Kamaru Usman, Chimaev had broken his hand. So he would have loved to have the fight with Strickland. He'd have loved it been for the world championship. He loved everything about it. He just needed 3 more months so that they would cut the cast off of his hand. And those just aren't excuses. Those are reasons. Right? People, I would never make an excuse. Yeah, but sometimes you need to identify the reason. So Chimaev finds himself back at the bottom of the ladder, right? Because what he earned, a shot at the title. When you earn that shot at the title, all the UFC has to do is offer you a shot at that title.
Meanwhile, as UFC 319 approaches, fans are curious what gives Khamzat Chimaev his edge. Many wonder if there is a special training secret behind his impressive stamina and skill. Michael Bisping shared some insight pointing to Khamzat's work with a well-known conditioning coach. This connection could explain the fighter's improved fitness and readiness for the big fight.
TJ Dillashaw's secret weapon was back in the day, it was EPO. Hate to say it, TJ, you're a good man, but you know, you were cheating and you were doing EPO, which helps your cardio. I don't know much about it. All I know about is hard work. And that's what TJ Dillashaw was talking about. He was talking about Khamzat Chimaev linking up with his old conditioning coach, Sam Calavita, who apparently is some conditioning guru, lives in Yorba Linda, California, which is just about 2 miles that way behind me. It's essentially where I live. So this guy, Sam Calavita, apparently is a conditioning mastermind. He's trained a lot of great fighters. I think Paulo Costa was training with him as well. I might be mistaken on that, but I know Paulo Costa was training in Yorba Linda. Can't be too many guys in Yorba Linda that's training TJ Dillashaw, Paulo Costa, and now
Bisping talked about Khamzat Chimaev's powerful fighting style and intense pace. He acknowledged that Khamzat tends to slow down in later rounds, as seen in past fights, against tough opponents like Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman. Bisping praised Khamzat's aggressive approach, but expressed doubts about whether he can maintain that level in a 5-round title fight against Dricus du Plessis.
The man's a force of nature, and we also know that when it gets to rounds 2 and 3, he does start to fade, okay? You know about the fight with Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman. We don't need to go into all of that stuff. However, what I do respect about Khamzat Chimaev is that this man doesn't pace himself. I don't think he could pace himself if he wants to try. He just wants to kill everybody. And I absolutely love that about the guy. However, this is a 5-round fight. And I don't think he's going to be able to go out there and do to the champion, Dricus du Plessis, what he has done to some other people. Of course, couldn't do it to Kamaru Usman. Couldn't do it to Gilbert Burns. Probably won't be able to do it to Dricus du Plessis.
Moving on, Brendan Schaub recently claimed Dricus du Plessis as the rare potential to win titles in 3 different weight classes. Kyle Sonnen picked up on this and discussed how impressive du Plessis is at 185 pounds. He also mentioned Khamzat Chimaev as a major threat in that division. Brendan believes Dricus is cutting significant weight to make 185 and could even move up to 205.
Remarkably incredible. And then, of course, you've got the boogeyman in Chimaev. The boogeyman in Chimaev versus the well-singing, handsome world champion. Defended his championship for you weirdos that like to make that part of the pre-equium. And Brendan thinks from seeing him that he's cutting a lot to get to 185. I didn't know that. And Brendan thinks he could go 205. And Brendan thinks even if he let his body, kind of like what we're seeing with Alex Pereira, that he'd go all the way up to heavyweight. But it's funny you bring up Alex Pereira, because we have 2 guys that are only...
Sonnen went on to explain that moving up multiple weight classes is very rare and difficult. He compared du Plessis to Alex Pereira and other fighters close to winning titles in 3 divisions. Sonnen loves the idea of a champ who holds multiple belts.
1 win away from doing it. Now, we only have 2 guys. It would be an insurmountable challenge to have no belts and won all 3. That insurmountable challenge lessens, but boy, sure looks hard to do if you got a belt and you need 2 more. I love that idea of champ. I think we do have 2 guys right now that can do it, but those 2 guys have already knocked 2 of them off. Ilya Topuria just needs to get it at 170, and that sure...
The tension between Khamzat Chimaev and Sean Strickland is heating up fast, with both fighters refusing to back down. This rivalry is shaping up to be one of the most intense matchups in the UFC's middleweight division. With Khamzat's aggressive style and Strickland's fearless attitude, fans can expect fireworks when these 2 finally meet inside the cage. UFC 319 might just deliver one of the most thrilling fights of the year. Both fighters bring unique strengths. Khamzat's relentless wrestling and powerful striking, paired with Strickland's sharp boxing and iron chin, making this clash unpredictable and highly anticipated. Who do you think will come out on top when Khamzat Chimaev and Sean Strickland finally fight? Let us know your prediction in the comments below.